Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself. Okay, right, everyone, I've got a very interesting video for you guys today, for all of you. Oh, typical. I'll stick that back up in a minute. Um, as many of you will have seen, especially those who are watching, who are following the astrology channels, a lot of us have been talking about what the upcoming eclipses. Now, I did an eclipse video a few months ago to kind of like outline some of the main themes that would happen. But now that the solar eclipse in October is basically less than a month away, I thought it was time to look at that. We're also going to look at the eclipses of 2024. I'm also going to look at how the eclipses are going to affect Joe Biden and Duck Larange, yeah? Also known as Trump. Why? Because at the moment they are the two front candidates. Things can change, of course. Remember, eclipses can be quite revelatory and quite disruptive. But if projections or if current trends continue, then of course it's seen that Biden is considered to be the main Democratic runner. Let me know, guys, if in the comments if the Democrats are doing the same runoff thing as the GOP. Are the Democrats doing the same? I've not really heard anything, or is kind of Biden going to be sort of like anointed as the next leader? Does he have to do runoffs or anything like that? Because remember, I'm from the UK, so here in the UK, whoever the parties are, they all do sort of like the runoffs at the same time. So let me know about that. I've not heard anything. Maybe it's delayed, or maybe it's going to happen next year. I don't know. And obviously, we've already seen part of the GOP runoffs, and my goodness, some of the people there. Anyway, I've already given my opinions on those. And remember too, as well, what I said, and I think this is proving to be the case. When I did some reading on that, I said Nikki Haley is the dark horse. Remember, I said that. So she's the dark horse. She might come out doing the best in terms of that milieu of kind of cray and weirdness that they've got going on there in the GOP. But we're getting used to that now, aren't we? All of the crazy stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing my screen with you, and I'm going to be showing, the first thing I'm going to be showing you is the path of the eclipses. And when you see this, this is going to give you pause for thought. So this is definitely one of the readings where, anyone with a weak bladder, watch out. Because this is going to be eventful. It's going to be eventful stuff. So when are the eclipses happening? Now, this is going to focus on the solar eclipses. So how does it work? A solar eclipse is basically a new moon. So basically where the path across the ecliptic of where the sun and the moon go, it's where they cross and intersect with Rahu and Ketu, which cause the eclipses. Depending on the width of the orb, depends on how deep and long or powerful the eclipse is. These eclipses are quite are relatively wide, but I can't remember the exact degrees, but we're going to look into that. I'm also as well, so in this, so we're going to look at the eclipses, the dates, the path, and then we're going to look at Biden's chart, Trump's chart, and we're also going to look at the chart of the Declaration of Independence chart. The one that I use all the time, and many other astrologers use it. It is very accurate. And we're going to put those three things together to get an idea of the energies that the eclipses are bringing for both Biden and Duck Larange. Yeah. Of course, there may be other characters that come into the field, but at the moment, they are the two main two. Yeah, They are the two main candidates unless something extraordinary happens. Yeah, and I think we can all agree on that. The first solar eclipse, well, not the first. We've already had the earlier solar eclipses, which happen sort of like in April and May. because normally we have about 4 eclipses each year, but sometimes it can be as high as 6. So I think it was in 2021, we had 6 eclipses or something like that. It was ridiculous. 2020 or 2021, either way, there was a lot of eclipses. So the second solar eclipse of the year is happening on the 14th of October, 2023. Yeah. And today's date, just so you know, is the 17th of September 2023. So I'm recording this on Sunday night. And it is, my time is 8 minutes past 10 p.m. in the evening. So then at least you've got this kind of timestamp, as it were, for this prediction. The reason why I'm doing this now is because the energy of the eclipses comes in about a month before they actually happen. So we are now, so basically from the 14th of September, the energy of the solar eclipse that is happening on the 14th of October has already begun. Yeah, it's already begun. We're already seeing these, the energies start to kind of ramp up, as it were. So bear that in mind. And then the next eclipse we're going to look at is happening on the 8th of April, 2024. And we're going to be looking at the paths of those eclipses as well and how that is relevant to America. Now, when you see this, you're going to be like, whoa, yeah. So I just want to put a disclaimer, and I'm going to read some tarot as well. I'll pull some tarot for Biden and for Trump. And I just want to put something out there. I just want everyone to understand, I read charts and I read cards and I'm impartial. At least I try my absolute best to be, just to be an empty vessel for the message to come through. For those that may not like the message of the astrology or the tarot and stuff like that, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. Everyone has their own opinions and stuff like that. But just understand I'm coming from that place. Also, as well, as we know, astrology is a science and an art, but it really is a science. And what I'm talking about here is geometry, energy, alignments, along with the psychological, potential psychological, financial, or whatever impact that has. Because, of course, as above, so below. As many people know from that Hermetic tradition, it's actually longer than that, and I can't remember what it all is. But the point is we are in, and you've heard me say this before, we are in historical and tumultuous times. We really are. This is a very unique and intense, but also immensely interesting time to be here on Earth School at this time. We are at this kind of juncture, this crossroads of historical times in human history. And the eclipses and astrology can kind of try and help us understand where that trajectory is most likely to go. But of course, pardon me, there is free will. There is always free will, and how we respond to events is also a big part of how future events play out. And I don't get my fan on because I can feel myself warming up already. So just bear that in mind. So we're going to look at the eclipse paths, Biden's chart, where the eclipses will fall, Trump's chart, where the eclipses will fall, the US Declaration of Independence chart, where those eclipses will fall. Plus, we'll do a little bit of tarot on Biden and Trump at the end. And then let's see what happens, because this is now the most pertinent time frame to actually talk about things before they actually fully kick off. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. And what I'm going to share with you is the eclipse paths. Yep, the eclipse paths. And you will see this for yourself. Yeah, when you see this, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. So let's do here entire screen. And I'm going to share. Might take a little while, but things are behaving slightly better now that we're off the Mercury retrograde. Only just though. So I'm going to make sure Oh, come on. Can you see that? Let's see. I can't see myself anymore. Oh, crumbs. Let's move this up. Let me just see here. I'm just assuming that you can see this. Yeah, I'm assuming that you can see this. Why can't I see myself? Why can't I see myself? Let me close that bit down. Let me see if I can't see me. Not that that's the most important thing. Where am I? Oh, I've vanished. Oh, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Ah, I've not vanished. I know. Oh, I know what's happened. I know what's happened. It's because I went off the tab, didn't I? So, how am I going to do this? This is me here. I obviously, how am I going to show you? If I were to click up, oh crikey, I'm not quite sure how to show you that screen that I was looking at. How am I going to do that? If I look, I'm going to take a screenshot of it. Let me take a screenshot of this, and then I'll take the screenshot. Oh crikey! Oh, see, this is the. Let's do that. Should give me a screenshot, I hope. Should have happened. And then I'm gonna, yeah, and then I'm gonna scroll down a bit more just so you can see the full thing. And let's do that. And that should also have given us something. And then I'm going to go back in. Oh, crikey. I don't know if you guys would have seen any, would that have worked? Why couldn't I? Ooh, I'm going to do here. Sorry about this. I'm just kind of slightly confused about how to get you to see what I saw. Let me just minimize down for a minute here and see if I can find those screenshots that I just took to see where they went. So I'm going to do, Buckadocious. This is so frustrating. Yeah, let me just kind of go in here. 1 minute. I will find those for you. Let's go back. Let's go back into the main screen. So basically what I'm going to show you is once I've figured out how to do that, let's do the stop share for a minute. Once I've figured out how to do that, sorry folks. Basically the eclipses cross through the they cross through the United States. Let me just see here if it would have got, where would the screenshots normally be? Let me just click here on pictures, and hopefully once I'm able to get them up, I should be able to kind of share them. Oh, sorry folks. Let's just see screenshots. Here we go. Let's open that. And then let's see, did it take those screenshots? No. Why did it not take those? Oh, this is frustrating. Let's go back. Because the thing is, I can't see if you can see this. If you can, there it is there. 1 second, it should be, yeah, it should be, this is that. Nope, it's not that. Oh, actually, I know what the screenshot is now. Bloody hell, I forgot. It's this. Ah, that did it. That did it. Oh, I pressed the wrong button, folks, for the screenshot. Did it do it again? Come on. I think it did. I'll just do one more time. Ah, okay. Now it did it. Bloody hell. All right. Let's see here. So what I'll do is I'll go back in to see you guys. I don't know if you got to see any of that because I can't see myself. So I didn't know. I wasn't even sure if it was sharing. And I didn't do this live, isn't it? Otherwise you'd have been able to tell me. Oh, come on. Oh, God, now it's going weird. All right. So let's try again. Sorry about that, folks. Bloody hell. There's always sometimes some unexpected thingamajigs. So let me just see here if how am I going to share this with you guys? How am I going to do this? Now I've got the shots. If I do, let me see if I minimize down. What if I can find them? Let's go back in here. Ah, here they are. Now I've got the screenshots. So let's do that. Get that up. And at least then I can get as a tab, and then I can just show you guys what's going on. God, and this is taking bloody forever to get working as well. Ugh, Jesus. Oh, dear. All right. Just waiting for this to actually kind of do its thing. Come on. Don't know why this is taking so long. Well, look, talk amongst yourselves while I'm working this out. But the point is, I don't know, because when I went onto the other tab, I couldn't see myself. So I didn't know if this was actually showing to you guys. But essentially, the eclipses go like this. And they go right through Texas. So I'm just literally waiting for this thingamajig to come up, and then I'm going to be able to share it properly as a tab so you can then see it for yourselves. But it's just taking forever. I don't know why it's taking so long, but it's sort of kind of getting there, because it's really important to show you guys, you know, what this stuff is about, because this is going to be a very historical and potential historically changing of the direction of the United States with these eclipses. So I want you to be able to actually see properly what this is. That one I've done, and then hopefully this one will open up quicker now that I've already done that part. Sorry that this is a bit boring, folks. Ah, come on. All right, so I can minimize those two down. Now, if I go back to you guys here, hopefully that kept on going. Yeah, it was still recording. Now, if I do share screen, sorry guys, that would have been really dull. I hope you made some coffee. Oh, actually, look, it's giving me, oh, well, look at that. It's actually giving me that tab to share. Oh, I could have done that before. Anyway, at least it's done it now. Now, this should be showing you. Can you see this, guys? So here, so you can see this is bona fide, you know, physics, science, all that stuff. You can see this is the American Astronomical Society, and you can see here one of the partners here is NASA. Eclipse America 2023 to 2024. So there you see it going across that way and then going across this way. So it's almost like this. Yeah, it basically is that, and it goes right through Texas. You can see goes right through the middle here, and it's also going to go through parts of Mexico as well, and other parts of America. So these two sets of eclipses together. So yeah, look, see, you can see that. You can see that now. And so if I go back onto this tab here and scroll back up a bit, so then you can see, you know, who the credentials of this. So this isn't any kind of made up stuff here. This is proper stuff. This is proper stuff. You can see for yourself how clearly that indicates what is going on. So even though it took me a while to get my stuff together on that one, and apologies for the delay on that, but now you can see why it's so important, why I'm sharing what I'm sharing. These sets of eclipses are historical. You will not need me to tell you why 2024 is also very, very important. Think of what is also going to be happening around about April 2024. Isn't that when a certain Duc Larange, well, I think his stuff is happening in March, isn't it? So if we think of the Georgia case, it's been brought forward. At least with Sidney Powell, the Kraken, and Cheesebro. And you guys remember I've been saying ad nauseum. I said from October 22nd, 2023, I said Trump's life is going to start getting a lot more difficult. And the case has been brought forward to October 23rd, 2023, right on time, just when I said those energies were going to happen. Now, if I recall correctly, Trump's trial is supposed to be in March, and they're expecting it to go for what? About a month. And then there will be a potential what? Conviction. That means the potential conviction, at least in the Georgia case, is likely to be happening around April 2024. Yeah, or that, you know, who knows? This is also going through the middle of Texas. And you've heard me say before, I said if the GOP got into the House, which they did, I said they were going to go on Hunter Biden's laptop, and they were going to try and impeach Biden and do all sorts of stuff with Biden. You remember that. Look what's been happening. I also said as well, I think there is a chance that there might be at least one state that will try to secede. Yeah, that will try to secede. And it could be because a certain Duc Larange gets locked up. Yeah. Look where that eclipse path is going right through. As you can see, there's no BS here. This is, you know, this is the, you know, the official, this is actually what is happening. And what are eclipses about? They deal with revelations. They deal with things that were hidden from sight before. They're like escalators. Remember, I'm always saying they're like escalators. Something comes in, something comes out. Things that were hidden in the dark suddenly become more revealed. So this is some of the kind of stuff that I'm seeing here. So you know, there it is. Yeah, you can see it there for yourselves. So let's look at Joe Biden's chart. Yeah, let's look at Joe Biden's chart. So let's do, I might have to, let me just see here. I might have to do stop sharing on that. Yeah, and then do share again. And then let's get into some charts. And then that was Chrome tab window. Right. Share that. Oops. And then let's get, there we go. So this is Joe Biden's chart here. Let's get this up. Let's just move this across a little bit just so I can keep track of where I am. So here's Joe Biden's chart. Oh, come on, just move. Ah. Obviously the computer's struggling. I mean, I don't ask it to do much, you know. I really don't. It's just a few bloody charts And it acts like I'm asking it to break secret codes into the Pentagon. It's just ridiculous. Right. There we are. So here is Joe Biden's chart. Again, born on the 20th of November 1942. Yeah. And here's his chart here. So we see here he's a Scorpio rising, Sun in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio, making him what? A triple Scorpio. Now, the important thing to understand is that the eclipses are happening on the solar eclipse happening on October 14th, 2023 is happening in the Aries Libra axis. Aries Libra. Now, and it's to do with the nodes of the moon. So if we look here, you see where it says TR. This is where the nodes of the moon are right now. Right now. And basically, Rahu and Ketu are hovering around about the 0 degree mark. Pardon me, the 0 degree mark. Now, that 0 degrees is still a relatively close orb to Biden's moon. The actual eclipses, because they move backwards in the sky, you know, basically Biden's moon has been triggered by these eclipses, essentially. This is the last set. But Rahu and Ketu, or Rahu rather, is at the Gandanta point. The Gandanta point is the point between water and fire, and fire and water. It's also known as a karmic knot, and it can also refer to drowning. Or flooding and stuff like that. Rahu's staying there for, you know, up until, well, he's staying in the Gandanta point for a few months, actually. And we've seen already huge floods and incidents around the world. We also see we've got Uranus here retrograde. And do you remember I said when Uranus goes retrograde, it can often produce earthquakes? Didn't we have the big, where was the big earthquake? Was it, I think it was Tunisia was flooded, and was it Morocco that had the earthquake? Forgive me if I've got that wrong. Yeah, but we've seen how that has already kind of played out. So this is happening in Aries, but this also means that this Jupiter, Uranus and Rahu energy is also affecting Biden's moon. What is the moon? The moon represents the mind overall, our instincts, our emotions, our feelings. But it literally does deal with the mind, but it also deals with what? Family. Yeah, family. So of course that's affecting things with Hunter Biden, yeah, who's under investigation and all that kind of stuff. And there was one prediction, I can't remember what it was as well, but I said there might be issues as well for Jill Biden as well. And she's recently contracted COVID. Not heard that much news of how better she is or not, but nonetheless, that's also transpired. You'll also see as well the eclipses are falling, have been falling on Biden's Mars and his Mercury in his 12th house. And the 12th house can also deal with losses. The 6th house deals with health and healing and overcoming obstacles. So he's having eclipses here. I'll just let you guys join the dots on that, because some people get very sensitive when things are made explicit, shall we say. If we look here, we can see now, you see all these letters, yeah, next to Biden's planets here. Whatever is R means retrograde. Any planets that are retrograde, it's like you have to squeeze the orange harder to get the juice out of it. And we know he's had quite a testing life. Has Biden, but also as well, you see where it says C here, which you can see over here, that means combust. So when planets are combust, they're hidden by the rays of the sun, they're almost bleached a little bit, and it's said to potentially weaken those planets. Now their energies are still there, but it's like they're essentially kind of bleached a little bit. So if we look here, we see Biden's Mars is combust, his Mercury is combust, and so is his Venus. So we see it here. He has had difficulties, of course, what, with his first wife, who sadly, tragically, was lost in an accident, and along with one of his daughters. Yeah, Venus represents women, but the wife in particular, but it also represents daughters as well. Jill Biden is also having what, a little bit of some issues with her health. Hopefully, you know, she's recovered. But I want you two guys to understand how these energies work, because planets are people. Now, what's even more pertinent, you'll see here now, what's this? Mercury is the planet of communication. Yeah, communications of all kinds. And a lot of people have been what? Critiquing Biden's communications, haven't they? I'm not going to go into the details of it. We all know what everyone's been talking about. I'm showing you guys the energy, yeah, because I don't want to have silly arguments about who said what or whatever. We all know that he's being critiqued a lot for what? His speech, his gaffes, stammers, stuff like that. His Mercury, planet of communication, is combust. Been bleached, burnt by the sun, which means it's weakened it a bit. So of course, if Mercury is the planet of speech, that's going to give you what? Speech difficulties. If we look here, Mars is also here. Now remember I'm saying Mars, planets are people. Now Mars is not only just war, conflict, explosions and stuff like that. He deals with logical thinking, problem solving, stuff like that. He also deals with land and real estate. But Mars is a male planet. He is indicative of siblings, yeah, but brothers in particular is what I found. Mars as well, when a person has children, also represents sons. Sons. We don't hear much about. I mean, I think Joe Biden's got a daughter, hasn't he? We don't. I think he has. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But the point is, his Mars is combust as well, which means it's what? It's weakened. Sadly, one of his sons died of cancer. Yeah. Beau Biden. Yeah. And we see at the moment, Hunter Biden has had huge issues of what? Addiction, difficulties in his life. And he's under pressure right now. They're doing, I can't remember, I'm not fully up to date with all the details, but you know, they're going to want to try and criminally charge him, don't they? But he's had a very challenging and difficult life. This is where the eclipses are falling. So on October 14th, the solar eclipse is going to be, should be happening. Let's see, where is the sun here? What am I talking about? So the solar eclipse is actually going to be happening. Oh my goodness, it's happening in Libra. Because look, you see, here's the sun over here in sidereal Virgo. And of course, the sun moves 1 degree a day. So obviously next month, it's going to actually be in Libra. So this solar eclipse is actually going to be falling with Mars and with Mercury, which means what? That's going to be a sticky wickets, isn't it, for Hunter? Because Mars is what? A person's sun. So Biden's child, remember the eclipse is also happening on his moon, family, yeah, family, his mind, his emotions, and it's affecting what? His son, Hunter. And the eclipse will be coming there. Let's do the animated transits, so we can actually see. Now I want you guys to focus down here. This is where sort of like the eclipses are happening. The eclipse should actually technically happen in the sign of Virgo, but it's gonna be close. So let's put in here the date here. Let's set the date, which is obviously the 14th of October. So 14/10/2023, and this is my UK time here, but you know, let's see. So we, at least then we know. Right, here we are. You see the planets have moved. So here, the sun will be at 27 degrees of Virgo, not Libra, of sidereal Virgo. Of course, with the Western tropical, they are 24 degrees ahead. So it will actually be happening in Libra for them. So if we look here, here's the sun and the moon together. So this is the actual solar eclipse. So it's happening in Virgo. Oh my goodness. I've got that. I've got that pretty close to some planets for me. But the point is here, you'll see K2 is still in sidereal Libra. So, okay, so it's not quite happening on Joe Biden's Mars. So let me just have that. That is a clarification, everyone. That is a clarification. It's not quite happening with his Mars or his Mercury, but Mars is close. Mars is close to that eclipse point. So it could be, maybe, is that a close shave? We'll have to see how that manifests for Hunter. But either way, there is that intensity there. Then actually, when we go, if we go here to 2 weeks later and we go to the 28th of October, we're going to get the lunar eclipse. So let's go here. Oh no, that's monthly. Let's go back. Let's do weekly. And you see the number change here, 21st and then 28th. So up here, here we are. Now this is the lunar eclipse, which is happening on the 28th. So the lunar eclipse is literally happening with Joe Biden's moon. So there's something significant. This eclipse season for Joe is, you know, there's a lot of pressure going on. He's been getting a lot of critique, a lot of, you know, he's just been having a bit of a tough time of it, hasn't he? With the polls and all that kind of stuff. I know there's people say some polls are bought, this, that, and the other. But when you look at the general overview, it's not been so great. Let's just be honest. It's not been so great. Early days, though. You need to understand there's still a year, well, over a year to go, or just over a year to go. But, you know, it's manifesting as pressure, isn't it? If we look here, Saturn, which is in sidereal Aquarius, will be also aspecting this eclipse as well via his third aspect, powerful aspect, because Saturn aspects 3 places from himself, 7 places from himself, the opposition, which is all planets, and 10 places from himself, which is a backward square. Saturn's backward square will also be looking at Scorpio. Yeah, so if we count round 10, just so you can see. So 1, 2, 3, that's the aspect to Biden's moon from Saturn. Saturn deals with what? Delays, hardships, difficulties, hard graft, stresses. Yeah. And then if we go here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's opposite, which is in Leo. We'll see if Biden's got any planets in Leo, but we certainly know Trump has. Yeah. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, that will fall into Scorpio. Now, what do we know about Scorpio for Biden? Scorpio, he is a Scorpio rising with what? 2 planets there. The sun, which is the kingdom that we're building this lifetime, but it's also our health and our vitality, and it's aspecting Venus, which is the wife. Yeah. So these eclipses here, oof, yeah, it's going to be challenging. Let's go main screen. So if we see here, Saturn, if we superimpose his position over here, oh my gosh, it's also with his K2. K2 is what I call what? Snip, snip. This is also 7 degrees of sidereal Aquarius. Is also where the USA's moon is, because you guys are also in Sadi Sati. So I'm not going to doom monger anything too much, but what I'm going to say is this: these eclipses are very, very significant for Biden, his family, his national and maybe international standing, and Jill as well. I'm slightly worried about this because Saturn being here, this is where Saturn is in space, where he truly is, and his backward aspect, like I said, by 4 degrees, we can just count back from where he will be in Aquarius. 1, 2, 3, 4. That aspects Biden's ascendant. So we see here Saturn is aspecting Biden's moon and sun and Venus all at the same time. The lunar eclipse is happening with his moon on the 28th, and the solar eclipse is, well, maybe not that close, but it's happening here. It's happening here in his 11th house in Virgo. And it's going to be aspecting this Neptune, and Virgo also deals with health and healing and stuff like that. So look, I'm just reading the energy of the chart. Oh, and look, he does have a planet in Leo as well. He's got Marga here. I mean, he's got Rahu in Marga, conjunct Regulus, the star Regulus, which makes him a leader, of course. Oh gosh, and it's there with Chiron, the wounded healer. Holy shizel. Holy shizel. Saturn is going to be standing still at 7, 8 degrees of sidereal Aquarius for about a month or so, which will be exactly opposite Biden's Rahu as well. It's also going to aspect Trump's chart. Oh my gosh. Wow. All right. That's very significant. The more I kind of look at that, I'm like, all right. Anyway, I've said my piece there because I know uh, for many of you, Biden is Spiritus Sanctus. And that's fine and that's understandable. But as you know, I read the energy. I'm not so invested in the politics. It's more important for me, the tarot, the energy of what's going on. Let's look at Duc Larange. Let's see what's going on for him. That was a bit more than I was expecting actually for Biden when I look at that. Let's see here. Let's look at Donald Trump, Duc Larange. And let's do the same for him and show where the eclipses are falling there. Now the eclipses move backwards. So over 18 months ago now, they were in Taurus and they were in Scorpio, which we can see were major trigger points for Duc Larange. Yeah, he's got his Sun, Rahu, and Uranus in Taurus in the 10th house. So by one day, he is actually a Taurus sun sign, according to Vedic astrology. And of course, his moon and Ketu are in Scorpio. So we've known he's been what the eclipses for him have been a torrid time. Now, though, we can see here Rahu and Ketu, or Rahu, Jupiter, and Uranus are in his 9th house. And Ketu is in his 3rd house. So what we can see here is that basically Trump is being triggered on the 3-9 axis. And I refer to the 3-9 axis as the axis of travel, teaching, and preaching. The 9th house, though, in particular, also deals with the law. Let's not forget that. It deals with the law. And of course, what's been happening, Duc Larange has had some serious legal issues that have been coming up. Jupiter is strong in the sign of Aries, but he has an expanding quality. So his legal difficulties, as it were, even though this house appears empty on his chart, when we look to see where the planets are by transit, we see his 9th house is being strongly activated. So he's having to deal with legalities of all kinds. All sorts of stuff is coming at him from all different corners. K2 is snip, snip, as I say, Rahu, gobble, gobble, gobble. K2, snip, snip. So wherever K2 is, this is sometimes where we can feel a sense of loss with something or restriction. If a person, though, is following their dharmic path, K2 can sometimes give a sudden rise as well. I don't think that would necessarily happen for Trump, but in terms of ordinary people that are following their spiritual path, K2 can give these remarkable rewards as well, because he means conquered land, puts up the flagpole, so you pull the strings, isn't it? The flag rises. So remember as well, the nodes of the moon are always unpredictable. They're always unpredictable. But with Ketu going through his 3rd house, we've been seeing what? That Trump has had to, because the 3rd house deals with what? Media and communications of all kinds. So he was taken off of Twitter, as we know, or now since been reinstated. But there was a period of time when what? He was taken off of Twitter, but he's had a lot of critique as well for what? The things that he's been saying. And he's been speaking out in these cases. Remember, he's officially been sanctioned now, and he's still going what? Yabba, 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 yabba. Because the 9th house also deals with beliefs, and that's where Rahu is. And wherever Rahu is, we like to talk. Yeah, that area gets, because Rahu is the head without a body. So Duc Larange has been talking a lot when he shouldn't be. And his speech could get him into trouble. Because, of course, Ketu and Rahu, they're going to stop at this kind of 1 degree, and they're staying there for a few months. So that's going to really intensify them. So like we were reading in Hogarth, we were looking, even though the judge is not wanting to necessarily, kind of pull that trigger, so to speak, the hand might be forced because he might just keep on going. So for Duc Larange, the eclipses are falling there. So could it be with the solar and lunar eclipses that maybe his speech really does get him into trouble? The solar eclipse, of course, is happening in Virgo, like I said, and it's happening in Trump's 2nd house, which deals with money and finances. Jupiter is also there, and Jupiter deals with children. Neptune deals with secret scandals, lies, yeah. And Chiron is also here as well, the wounded healer. So this solar eclipse, and the eclipse deals with what? Leaders, the king, CEOs, all of this kind of stuff. He's a former president. So it could be that the solar eclipse coming up on the 14th of October for Duck Larange could be very impactful for him. And if we think about it, as I said, ad nauseum, from the 22nd of October, things get a lot more difficult for him. But, the eclipses are going to be showing that energy as well. And that's made me thinking as well, not only of Fani Willis, but I think this is the New York case as well. Yeah, it's going to be happening in that ballpark. That's happening in October as well, if I remember correctly. But let me know in the comments. So it's looking like the solar eclipse is going to be very impactful for Duck Larange. Could there be an incident or issue with health for him as well? We'll have to see, because Chiron is here, the wounded healer. But second house is money, finances, speech, education. So this could be, maybe it's around this eclipse time that he might have to face some real consequences for what? His speech. And it means secrets and lies and all of the mishigas and stuff that maybe his children are beginning up to. This could be maybe when they're going to be maybe investigated as well. I think they're kind of taking a little look-see at old Gerard Kushner, isn't it? But who knows? This could have things to do for Ivanka but maybe it might be even the brothers, because Jupiter is a male planet. So things as well to do with drink and drugs, or illusions and delusions, gaslighting, big lies, all of this stuff. And I've already spoken about this. Duck Larange's capacity to tell humongous lies. Yeah. Second house speech. Jupiter is an expansive planet. Neptune has a very expansive and dissolving quality, and both are co-rulers of Pisces, which is also Duck Larange's 8th house as well. What will also happen as well by transit, when the nodes of the moon finally do move on the 29th of November 2023, Rahu, that means Rahu is going to go into Trump's 8th house. Yeah? Yeah? Oh dear. What's the 8th house all about? Now, we know all of this already. Let me get the old wand. See if you can see this. In fact, anyway, I'll just read off here. Remember, the 8th house I referred to as the house of sex, death, and rock and roll. Yeah? So it deals with transformation, therapy, traumas, wills, surrender, insurance, psychology. It deals with the private parts as well. Addictions, disgrace, bankruptcy, metaphysics, inheritance, taxes. Oh, for Duck Larange, oh dear. Yeah, this could be a bit dicey. Money from others. Yeah, it also deals with astrology, life force. It deals with magnetism and charisma. It can even deal with murder. Yeah. Conspiracy theories as well, near-death experiences, scandals, betrayal, alchemy as well, and shamans. So unless Donald Trump is booking himself a shaman to kind of get him out of this pickle, these eclipses here and the movement of the nodes of the moon are probably really going to test him. But the eclipses are showing that this is going to have a more of a financial and family impact on Duck Larange. So we see, when we look at Biden, who of course is current president, there's things he has to look out for. And you can see I'm just reading his chart fairly as well, but also as well looking at Duck Larange's chart, the solar. So for the lunar eclipse, I think is maybe even more of a test for Biden, which is happening on the 28th of October. But the solar eclipse looks like much more of a test for Duck Larange, yeah, as you can see. And they are both candidates for the presidency, of course, of 2024, unless something extraordinary happens. If we look at where Saturn is falling in Duck Larange's chart, is falling in his 7th house. Now, the 7th house is anyone that's not us. It also deals with marriage. So this is also talking about, Melania. Where is Melania? Melania. It's just echoes, isn't it? Tumbleweed. She's hardly been anywhere on the scene. I mean, they're pretty much separated in all but name, really, isn't it? So there's that. But guess what? 7th house also deals with the court house. It also deals with opposition from others. So this is also dealing with Let me see how I'm doing on time here. Oh gosh, I need to hurry up. So this is also dealing, Saturn is also compounding his legal troubles as well. If we count 3 from Saturn, it means Saturn is also aspecting Duc Larange's 9th house, bringing what? Accountability and pressure to that house. Saturn is also aspecting Donald Trump's ascendant and Mars. Because let's not forget, look, there's Trump's ascendant. That's 6 degrees, 51 minutes, almost 7 degrees. Do you remember I said that here Saturn's going to be hovering around 7, 8 degrees for, you know, a while, at least a month or so. He even when he starts going direct in November, he's still going to be there for a while. So he's going to be there for a few months. That's exactly aspecting Donald Trump's ascendant, which is the ascendant is you, the body, yeah? And he's also as well got what? His ascendant and Mars conjunct the star Regulus. And for Biden, his Ketu is conjunct the star Regulus as well. So they're both being strongly impacted by planet Saturn, both of them, yeah? And then when we go to Scorpio, remember I said that Saturn by his backward square will also be affecting Scorpio. Look what's in Scorpio for Duc Larange, his K2 and his moon, which also deals with what? The mind, the emotions, family. K2 deals with losses, snip, snip. So we see here how Saturn basically is putting pressure on both men, both. And it's going to be very interesting to see how those energies play out. Both of them are having their moons are aspected. Saturn is aspecting Biden's moon from his 3rd aspect by aspecting Aries, but Saturn is aspecting Trump's moon by his 4th full aspect via Scorpio, which is also Biden's ascendant, but Saturn is aspecting Trump's ascendant via opposition. So do we see here, these are fateful times for both men. Yeah, both are experiencing their own challenges, as we have seen. You know, when we just open our eyes and just look, you know, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Let's go here. Let's look at the United States, the USA Declaration of Independence chart. Because the important thing, here we are, the important thing to understand is this. What is Saturn triggering in the USA chart? So here we can see America is in peak Sadi Sati. Sadi Sati happens when Saturn is 1 sign from the moon with the moon and 1 sign after. So we can see here's Saturn at 8 degrees and 4 minutes. Here is the America's moon at 7 degrees, 14 minutes. He's still going retrograde. He's going to stop at 7 degrees. Right on top of America's moon, right when all the eclipses are happening and everything like that. So, and also as well, Saturn stays in the sign for approximately 2.5 years, but really it takes about 3 years for him to completely finish up. So, you know, these energies are very strong right now. Saturn is aspecting the USA's chart's 5th house. 5th house deals with children and creativity, giving consultation and advice to others and things like fun and stuff like that, romance. Yeah, it's not been exactly fun at the moment, has it? Saturn is also aspecting along the 3-9 axis for the United States, which I said deals with travel, teaching and preaching. But the 9th house also deals with what? The law. Look, all the litigation, all the law. Do you remember I said, I think from last year, I said there's going to be so much litigation in 2023, 2024, even 2025. So there's all that energy going on there. Also as well here, Saturn is sitting on top of America's moon, like I said, but it's in the 3rd house, which deals with communication. But the moon is the lord of the 8th house. What's the 8th house? Sex, death, rock and roll, other people's money, you know, scandals, all of this kind of stuff. 3rd house is media. Moon represents the public. So look what's been going on a lot in terms of the media, whichever side you prefer to look at, and what's been going on there. Look also as well has been happening with social media and a lot of the censorship, yeah, that's been going on and stuff like that. You guys have a look for yourself. I'm not going to say any more on that because people get a bit triggered, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to describe the energies. So So we see here, you know, there's going to be lots more questions about the media in terms of the mind's eye of the public and what is being reported to them. People aren't even trusting the polls anymore because they, you know, they're like, well, some are paid for, some are not. Do you see there's these confusions around the validity of some of the messaging in the USA media? Yeah. So I'm just saying that there, you can see it for yourself. That's the USA chart. This is where Saturn is right now. You know, Moon 7 degrees 14 minutes, Saturn 8 degrees 4 minutes. This is why everything is feeling so pressured, so intense, why it never seems to end, why everything seems to be breaking down. There's so many different things coming out the closet. This is also, of course, coinciding with the Pluto return, which becomes exact next year, mid sort of like 2024. I think it's actually around April, actually. So that April eclipse is super, super significant. In fact, we can actually see now, look here, Pluto gets to 6 degrees 48 minutes. Let's do the animated transits. Let's do that and see when he gets up to that point. So let's do monthly. Now we're looking for 6 degrees 48 minutes down here, or there or thereabouts. So that's almost there. Let's do weekly, see if we can get the 648. Ah, there we are, 648. So the Pluto return becomes exact in the USA chart on the 21st of February 2024. That was even quicker than I thought. Look at that. 21st of February 2024 is when that Pluto return becomes exact. And then we got a big old eclipse in April. So we see there's a lot going on, folks, a lot going on. Let's go back to main screen. Where are the eclipses falling? So the eclipses are falling for the USA declaration chart in the 5th and the 11th house. So again, the 11th house also talks about friends, associates, great gains. So there's going to be stuff to do with money, finances, stuff like that. Leisure, pleasure, things we do for the love of it. There might be stories around big payments that people were paid, especially when we think of the Supreme Court, where Saturn will also be aspecting, remember, the 9th house by transit. And the media via communications, but also as well, the 11th house deals with hopes and dreams and stuff like that. So there's going to be a reassessment of the hopes and dreams of America. People are going to be really reflecting, very reflective. What else to share as well? There'll be a Uranus return next year for the United States. That's going to be interesting. 2024 become exact probably around about 2025 or thereabouts. No, actually later because the Uranus is at 18 degrees. But when Uranus moves into sidereal Taurus, that's when we'll also see the Uranus return as well. Let's go back to the animated transits and see, because sometimes I've been getting my dates slightly wrong with that Uranus transit. It's been wobbling around a bit. Let's do monthly again. Let's see. He should go in June. That's what I was. Yeah. So yeah, it's still June 2026. Sorry, June. I think it happens on the 3rd of June, but June 2024 is when the Uranus return begins to happen as well for the United States. So there's a tremendous amount going on. So I thought I'd share that. At least you guys can see for yourself. Let's pull some tarot because I'm almost at the hour. Let's do the stop share. Sorry for all the faffing about that happened earlier when I don't even know. The screen may have shared, it may have not. I don't think it did. So apologies for all of that kind of rummaging. But you can see why I had to take that time just to kind of show you guys where those eclipse paths were going. So there's going to be news for Mexico as well. I mean, I am planning to be in Mexico. I'm going to be there for Christmas. Just got the tickets and of course my retreat and stuff. I'm going to have more information for you on that because I'll be teaching at and giving consultations at this retreat in Mexico. but the eclipse path does go through Mexico as well. So, you know, slightly worried about that. But, you know, also as well, eclipses can also be brilliant as well. They can just do all sorts. Right, let's pull some cards for Biden and then Duck Larange. So I hope you guys thought that was fair. You know, because it's important to read on these things and to, you know, be without bias. Even if the messages are difficult, it's, you know, my whole thing is people need that information. They need accurate information that just tells it how it is. All right, Biden. Let's see what's going on for Biden. What can you expect in the next weeks and months? And then we'll look at Duck Larange. So we see both men, like I said, both men are challenged by Saturn. Saturn's letting rip on both of them. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh. Well, at least the outcome card is a bit better. All right. Cards about Biden. Yeah. Ten of Swords. He's going to feel stabbed in the back, betrayed. Yeah. Obviously, this is what GOP. Yeah. This is what the impeachment process. This is all the stuff to do with Hunter Biden, you know, whatever. Again, I just read the cards, folks. Like I said, do not shoot the messenger. I read the cards and I read the charts to give you the heads up. That won't apply, of course, to 99% of you, but there's still 1% out there that really, you know, bring the needles out to have a little stab when probably they shouldn't be. But that's the card there. So look, he's feeling what? Betrayed, obviously. Yeah, GOP, all this kind of stuff and whatever's going on. The obstacle card here, trying to move to smoother waters. So it's a challenge for him. Yeah, he's wanting to move to smoother waters and all the stuff with Hunter Biden and everyone talking, you know, about him and you know, should he stay, should he go, his age, everything like that. Yeah, so it's almost like some people are wanting him to kind of exit stage left, so to speak. We might be feeling that pressure or wanting to kind of get to smoother waters, but maybe not being able to because it's the opposition, it's the struggle position. Look here in the middle of it. Look, here it is again. I'm just reading the cards. This is Biden here battling. He's having to deal with all of a sudden all these things. The GOP are pulling this up. This one's pulling up that, this, that, and the other. Duck Larange, things going on with Hunter. So look, he is a bit embattled at the moment, trying to fight his position. But look, he's working hard. He's going to dig deep. Biden is going to have to find some reserves from somewhere. Yep, but here we see this is the card of what? Apprenticeship, study, grafting. Yeah, hard work. This is also him getting money and financing as well. So his financing might be pretty good. And his outcome card, look, it's the smug merchant, as we say sometimes, or the wish fulfillment card. So this is looking like, even though he's feeling stabbed in the back, people are wanting to move off the scene. Yeah, he may even be feeling himself he wants to move to smoother waters. He's battling his position, trying to defend himself, grafting hard, doing his research, which could come with a positive outcome for him. So, you know, difficult cards at the start for Biden, but at the end, a bit better. I'm sure you would agree. All right, let's look at Duck Larange. I don't want to drag on too long. And when you guys see this, you're probably going to see it on Monday, yeah, your time. Like I said, Sunday, 17th of September, 2023, or just after 11 o'clock. So I've been going an hour and 3 minutes. Let's have a look at Duck Larange. And don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and stuff like that. I know I don't always give the easiest messages, do I? But it comes true, doesn't it? It does come true. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what's going on for Duck Larange. All right, let's see what's going on for him. Duck Larange. Oh, na, na, na. What a pickle is it? Oh, very interesting. Ah, yes. Well, well, well. Interesting for Duck Larange too. All right, here he is. Two of Wands, speculating, yeah, looking at his options, thinking like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get myself out of this pickle that I'm in? But here he is contemplating the world, and there's also this element here of waiting for ships to come in. The three of Wands actually has the ships, but you can see he's looking out to the water. I honestly look, I know that a lot of people have said they don't see it happening, but I genuinely think, I still believe Duck Larange is looking at places in the world to go if it all hits the fan. I just keep getting that hit, and I keep getting cards of him holding the globe. I know a lot of people would say like he won't do it, you know, he's a malignant narcissist, he loves the attention, but when you got jail time coming up like he has, but look, what's the obstacle for him? All the machinations. Look, he gets the moon, major arcana. It's everything. It's all the secrets, the scandals, you know, the documents. Here's the lobster crawling out of the waters as the wolf and the dog howl at the moon. And this is also the trepidation and difficulty that the person has walking between the two pillars of truth. So, you know, and that's the obstacle. So he's still a bit kind of delusional, you know, a bit discombobulated. I saw one of the speeches he gave. Not, I didn't watch it entirety. I was watching, what's his name? Adam Cohen, blah, blah, blah. I forget. Anyway, and he showed a bit, you know, of his speech, and he was talking about when I was against running against Obama and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you weren't. You weren't even president then. So he cusses out Biden, yeah, for whatever, cognitive and whatnot. And it's like, look in your own backyard, sweetheart, yeah. Honestly, we really need to ask questions about stuff. Anyway, looky here. Sleepless nights, yeah. He is worried. I mean, who wouldn't be, yeah, with all of this kind of stuff coming up, especially with what could be in store for him in October. But look, machinations he's working on secret schemes and plans, and of course he's in touch with, you know, all of the people in the House and the GOP, probably on, you know, daily or weekly calls with the vast majority of them, trying to cook up plans, yeah. But this is also him using potentially esoteric means, different methodologies for him to try and get himself out of a pickle. But ultimately here we see the Two of Swords, so he's got tough decisions to make. If we bookend this, if we look at the two cards, yeah, one at the start, one at the beginning, yeah, this one here was him looking at the world, prospecting. To me, the way I interpret this, Trump is trying to decide if he stays in the USA or not. Many don't believe it, but it is going through his head. He is having sleepless nights, yeah, about everything that is transpiring in his life. How could he not be? So there you are, good guys. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you found that interesting. I know maybe some of the messages there may have been challenging, but I hope you guys saw that it was fair. I looked into both men's charts objectively at the energies. Both men are being tested by Saturn right now. Both of them are having aspects on the sun. Not for Duck Larange, but both are having aspects on the moons, their moons, family and the mind and the public, that kind of thing. And they're having aspects on their ascendants as well, which is them, the body and all of that kind of stuff. So testing, I would say, for both. Remember, Joe Biden's last cards were a bit better. So it looks like he may weather the storm and crawl over the finish line, yeah? For Duck Larange, he's got some difficult choices to make of whether he stays in the United States or he goes. That's how I'm interpreting that. I hope you guys found that interesting. Sorry for the faffing about earlier on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that, and also as well about those eclipses, and let's see what transpires. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, all that jazz. And if you'd like a consultation with me, then of course, it's in the link below. Go to Hogarth Global Astrology. I'm trying to update the logo. It still says thearchetypalblueprint.com, but that's my website. Anyway, I will leave it there for now. Much love, everyone, and let me know your thoughts. All right, bye for now. Bye.